Now, all of the lighting options that we talked about so far, remember, these are just for your key light. This is your main light, it's your biggest, brightest light. You gotta have at least this light, and you're gonna put it somewhere in front of you, wherever you want. But remember, we're not just doing one light, we're doing 4 lights. So this key light is just number 1 and 4. Now, you may have been looking at all of the lighting we've done so far with just this one key light, whatever option it was, and been like, any one of those would be good enough for me. Like, I'm good, I'm ready to go on. And that is fine, just use your one light and kill it. But I did want to show you some other options how you can play with lighting by adding different lights in different areas of the room. And so let's move on to our second light, which is the fill light. Fill light is used whenever you've got your key light off to one side, anywhere off to one side, so that you've got half your face that's a little darker than the other. And the fill light also goes in front of your subject, but it goes on the other side from your key light. And the purpose of it is to fill in some of the shadows on the darker side of the face. So without this fill light on, you can see that this side of my face is still pretty dark. Even though we don't have this key light all the way over to the side, it's still pretty shadowy. But with this fill light on, I am looking good, I got to say. I mean, it's still got dimension going on. We still got some contrast, some light dark, but that fill light is really helping things look more flattering. You might also notice that we got 2 different kinds of lights going on here. We've got an umbrella for our fill and a softbox for our key, and it's all good. You know, you can mix and match if you want to use a window for one light, room lights for another, ring light for another. There are no rules, just go ahead and make whatever you have on hand work. All right, now let's move on to the third light in our 4-point setup. This is our hair light. So a hair light goes behind your subject, opposite the side that your key light is on. And just like the other lights, it's gonna be above eye level, aimed down 45 degrees at the subject's hair or at their shoulder or the side of their face. What it's doing is it's creating this nice highlight effect on the edge of my hair, on the edge of my cheek here, on the edge of my shoulder. That is creating basically like this border with light that is separating me from the background, because I do not want to blend in with the background. I'm the subject, I want you to pay attention to me, right? You'll also notice that the hair light we're using does not have any sheer fabric in front of it. It doesn't have an umbrella, no softbox. It's also not a very big light. It's small, focused, acts like a spotlight. And that's kind of the light that I think works best for a hair light, because really we want this rim here from our hair light. It's also called a kicker light because it adds a little kick to your image. We want that to be popping, right? We don't want it to be soft, it needs to be like blang. And so that's the ideal light to use, but you can use whatever you have on hand for your hair light. Now we're gonna move on to our 4th light, which is our final light, and it's the background light. A background light is obviously going to light the background. I could leave it dark like this, but since this is a tutorial about gear organization in your office, I feel like it's kind of motivational. It's got like a brighter energy, and so I do want some light on my background. I don't want more light on my background than on me. It's about getting the right ratio because I want to pop off the background, but I don't want to be totally in the dark either. And I also want to put a little light on that gear closet back there, since this video is all about organizing gear. We're going to be using these spotlights again for our background lights. I like these because I can just aim them exactly where I want. I can pull in these, they're called barn doors, to get even more specific, or zoom in the light. So I really light exactly what I want in my background, but it's really flexible as far as what your options are for your background lights. Again, you can turn on those ceiling lights as long as they're not directly above your head. You could use lights that you already have in the background, like table lamps. Those are called practical lights because they're just so practical. You could use colored lights in the background if that's your style. A lot of times blue lights look really good on the background behind a subject's face because our skin has a warm tone to it and that contrasts nicely. But in our case, we're gonna keep them natural and white. We just need to figure out where we're gonna put them now. Okay, Editor Mary here, and I'm looking at this footage, and we actually tested out a few spots for this background light. So here's the first one we tried. I can plug it in. Oh wait, that's in the shot. The irony is that we're doing a video all about gear organization, but our gear is not that organized right now. Just don't tell anybody. Extension cord, hello. Okay, you want to turn around? Whoa, okay, that's a lot. It's taking my spotlight. You're gonna have to dial that back. Yes, yes. Yeah, I like that. But now, this other side looks like hella dark compared to this. I think we're gonna have to have 2 background lights in this.
I thought this was a 4-point lighting setup.
Y'all listen, did I not say there were no rules? Like if I wanna have 8 lights up in this to make my shot look good, that's gonna happen. So, all right, so we're gonna turn that new background light on. We've aimed it at these Yes.
I'll show you.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Maybe it is too strong though. So we did end up deciding that that light was too strong, and then we closed in those barn doors a little bit to try to focus it. And then we also tried putting the light inside the closet, because when it was outside the closet, it was spilling a little bit onto the front of those closet doors, and we didn't want that.
Oh, that's interesting.
I like whatever you're doing right now.
Yeah, me too. It might burn a hole in the door. Do you have the batteries for the smoke detector?
Stop it. So it's not even pointed at the gear. We're just bouncing it off that door, and it's making everything so soft on this wall. I'm just looking because I do have this thing that goes over the ring light that'll make it blue.
What is that?
It's a color filter. Oh God, that's blue.
Is that too blue?
Mm-hmm. I don't like it when it looks that fake. I mean, I'm sure it'd be some people's jam, but this just looks too funky for me.
Why would you have a blue light in the closet?
I don't like it. So after we killed that idea, we did a little more tweaking, and we ended up going with this setup, where we've got that shelf light out of the closet, and then our other light at the art wall, we just focused it at just the radio and that cup of pens on the table so that it didn't distract from me and so that I popped as the subject. I think we're done. Y'all, I'm gonna call it. This is the final lighting setup. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of obsessed with this. And now we have actually covered a lot when it comes to lighting, so let's recap everything we've been through so far. So today we showed you the basic 4-point lighting setup. In this setup, light number 1 is the key light. That is the main light, it's the biggest, brightest light, and is placed in front of the subject a little off to one side. Light number 2 is the fill light. It's placed in front of the subject on the other side, and it fills in some of the shadows on the dark side of the face and makes things a little more flattering. Light number 3 is the hair light. This light is placed behind the subject on the side opposite the key light, and it creates this border of light on the edge of the hair, face, and shoulder to separate the subject from the background. And light number 4 is the background light. It's aimed at the background to put a little light on it, but it's also placed behind the subject so that it doesn't mess up the lighting on them. Alright, now let's recap how we executed this lighting setup right here, starting with me sitting in the dark like a weirdo. So first we added a key light in front of me a little off to one side. Then we added a fill light on the other side to fill in the shadows of my face. Then we added a hair light to separate me from the background. Next we added our first background light aimed at that gear shelf in the closet. And lastly we added a second background light at that wall with the table and the art on it. And if you're sitting there like, Mary, that lighting setup was so much work, I don't know about that. Let me just remind you what I looked like when I was just sitting under the overhead ceiling light versus the final product when we put effort into our lighting setup. So I hope this shows you what a massive difference lighting can make for your videos, but ultimately I want you to do whatever setup works for you. And remember, there is no formula. You are actually creating art here. You are painting the room and you're painting yourself with light, and you can do that in whatever color, whatever way you want to. All right, next up, we're gonna do audio, so I will see you in the next video.